welcome to Commander Pat Alesia, the commander of the Nassau County American Legion. I heard exclusively on MalcolmPresents.com. Pat, introduce us to your guest.
Okay, but before we do that, Malcolm, I'd just like to take a moment of silence for the 11 Marines and one Navy medic who was killed today in Afghanistan.
Again, and I also have to add to all the Afghanis that were
That's
killed.
right.
Also.
Over 200 Afghanis were also killed.
All humanities, to me, again, I understand your thing, but everybody, a life is a life is a life.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so now in the past several podcasts, we have talked about the American Legion, the American Legion Auxiliary, the Sons of the American Legion, and the Legion Riders and Rolling Thunder. Tonight's special guest is Dawn Samuels, who is an Air Force veteran. She's a member of the American Legion, a member of the Auxiliary, and past county president of the Auxiliary, and a member of the Legion Riders. And as she's also part of my county staff, she handles children and youth and oratorical. So without further ado, I introduce Dawn Samuels, who's going to tell us a little bit about her experiences in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. So after I went to college after high school, and after I got my associate's degree, I joined the Air Force because I really felt just an obligation to my country, as well as I wanted to finish school. I wanted money to finish school. So I joined the Air Force, and if you're in the Air Force, you have to do something with airplanes, right? So I was a mechanic. I was in for 2.5 years, and I decided I want to finish school full time. So I got out and stayed in the reserve, and I went on to college. And within that year, I was called back to active duty for Desert Shield and Desert Storm. So that lasted for about a year. So I had to drop out of school and do that for a year. And after that, I stayed in the reserves to complete 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, awesome.
For some reason, I don't think there were many female mechanics in the Air Force. Were there?
Oh, there wasn't. Can I tell you my story?
Tell your story.
Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, I'm very little also. And usually mechanics are really big. And they were like 18 to 20 that I was working with, 8 years old. And we had a different supervisor every day, and I had to carry the toolbox, right? 50 pounds, half my weight every day. Oh, she never carries it, 'cause I'm the girl. So one day, one fateful day, we were out fixing a plane. We were on the wing, and we took the panel off, and we were doing something inside. And one guy dropped his tool in the wing. That stops everything. Wing commander, everything, big deal, right? So they held my feet, and I was able to grab that tool. We went on with our day. It was great. They never bothered me after that. That was good.
Well, yeah, because you can get into the little spaces.
Yes, yes.
But it reminds me of a story which has nothing to do with the services. I have a bad back.
Okay.
So I weight lift, and I can lift things if my back is firm. Like I can pump 200 pounds or so on a press if my back is against something flat. But I can't hold packages where I have to stand up and lean forward. And I'm about 6 foot, 200 pounds. So if we have any packages, my wife carries it. Well, she's not small, but she's about 120 pounds, about 5'6". But it looks funny. I'm almost embarrassed to have her carry the package while I'm walking next to her. And I always say, bad back, bad back.
Bad back.
Anyway, I had to add that story when you said you were.
That was cute.
That's really cool.
Anyway, continue.
All right, so then the next question I have, Dawn, is, how long was it after you left the Air Force that you decided to become a member of the American Legion? And how did that go? How did that happen?
Okay, probably about 10 years. I have 3 children, and scouting was my thing. So I made sure I was their leader, and I was involved, and they had to get Eagle and they had to get Gold Award. That wasn't an option. So we did that. And when they grew up, I was like, now what? What do I do? So the American Legion, after being in a cemetery with my son, showing honors through the Boy Scouts, and he went to Boys State. And that was a great thing through the American Legion. I was like, that's something I want to be involved in. That's my grown-up thing to do. So that's what I did. I joined the American Legion. It was really cool.
Okay, so now you are a member of the American Legion. How do you become involved with the auxiliary?
So I was going to meetings and fundraisers and everything, and I was serving this clam thing. I don't know, I don't like clams, but I was serving just to help, right? And the lady next to me said, oh, do you know what the auxiliary does? We do like Halloween parties and this and that. And I'm like, Halloween parties for grown-ups? Really? This is really great. So let me try it out. So I did. I went to a meeting and it was a lot of fun. Raising money and helping, you know, the post with their bills and everything, and just coming together. That was real. The fellowship was great.
Did you meet any other vets like yourself that were, you know, served in the combat areas?
I didn't serve in a combat area. I was stateside the whole time.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you went to.
No, I was called up for Desert Storm, but what it was is, since I was a reservist, we took over the base, and the people that worked on the base were shipped out over.
Okay.
So we had to handle home base.
My mistake. When you said you were called up for Desert Storm, I thought you, you know, were shipped overseas.
And just to reinforce what you said about the Legion and the auxiliary, there are many times where we work together conducting fundraisers. So it's like a family approach to gaining funds to help veterans down the road.
Yeah, we had mentioned that in the with the other groups that we talked about in previous weeks. No, I mean, to me, it's a great organization, and it's much needed because there's so many people coming back. You know, your vets that you know that need help. They need a place to go.
Well, that's it. That's it. You know, they're out there. We have to outreach basically to get them to get to the American Legion. And I think once we can get them to attend the meeting, I think the results will be pretty positive. But it's getting them to attend is the difficult, as we talked about in the past.
Yeah, because I think there is things that, yeah, I'm a non-vet. So I think there are things that I cannot relate to, you know, if someone is a veteran, especially if they're still in combat. You know, I only can intellectualize, but I don't have that feeling that they have, or even the feeling that you have of being part of the military. That's completely foreign to me.
Yes, and it is a specific feeling, because when I go away to conventions and everything, I know that everybody around me, I can just ask them anything. I can just, if I need help with anything, I don't hesitate. It's not like a stranger. It's just, I know I can just ask them anything.
Yeah, again, it's not brothers and sisters. I mean, they're all, it's all one big family.
It is, it really truly.
Yeah, and I think the American Legion becomes part of our extended family. And so where people need help, we try to do the best we can to help them.
Yeah, I mean, that's marvelous. And you know, I've been learning a lot over the weeks. Like I told Pat, the American Legion is like a well-kept secret. People know it. They know the American Legion, but they don't know what they do, how to join. They just know the name. I'm talking about probably vets also, probably veterans and you know, us civilians.
Well, you know what happens when veterans leave the military, they are normally briefed before they leave on certain aspects of their benefits and maybe the benefits of joining the American Legion, but they're so interested in leaving at that point, they're not really paying attention to what's going on, and therefore it goes in one ear and out the other, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Their whole thing is, okay, when are they going to stop talking? When am I going to get the hell out of here?
I want to get out of here and I want to go home.
And you don't know what you had until you miss it.
Right.
Relationship and everything, you don't know until you don't have it anymore.
Right. Now you had mentioned also you're a biker. One of the
that was the next thing we were going to get to.
I love my riders. Love them. They're so good. So one day I was at a county meeting giving my report for children and youth and oratorical, and there's this guy in his leather vest, and I see him all the time, and he said, "So when are you going to join us?"
And
So
hold on a
it's
second. And you saw Kevin last week. He showed you the vest. That's the
Right,
vest.
I went to, didn't you bring yours?
No, she didn't. No.
Yeah, but I really don't go on the bike without it. But so he's like, when are you going to join us? I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. So I went home, asked my daughter, I'm like, do you want to get your motorcycle license? That week we went and we got our permit and we took the class for our license. And within a month I bought a bike and joined, and it's been great.
Oh, you had never rode a bike before?
Never.
Wow.
3 years now. Yay.
That's why I say she is a superstar.
Well, she's a can-do person.
Yes.
You know, she looks at something, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Where I look at it and say, no way am I getting on that bike. No way.
Well, that's what we talked about, remember
Yes,
last week?
yes.
I love it. We went to West Point. There was a young man who's in our Sons of the Legion, and he wanted to go to, his dad was doing stuff, and he wanted to go to Boys State, and Boys State was canceled last year with all this COVID. So he wanted to do a project. So he made little goodie bags for a group from Massachusetts of reserve soldiers that came over and worked in the Javits Center for his project. So I worked with him. So I got to know him. So when he was going to West Point, we had a parade for him, all the riders. And
Wow.
I have this little group of cadets, Navy cadets in my school. I'm a teacher. So I have little Navy cadets from 3rd grade up to senior in high school. And they wear the Navy uniform and they march and they have a band and everything. They came too, and they marched and sent this guy off. And 2 weeks ago, Saturday the 14th, was acceptance day. So this young man was accepted. He did his basic and he was accepted into West Point.
Oh, wow,
So the
that's
riders went to West Point to go cheer him on. It was so cool.
Oh, that must have been exciting.
It was. It's really exciting.
So you took biking like a fish takes the water, right? It was almost natural to you guys.
Yeah, don't ask the riders. They helped
Well,
me a
wait,
lot.
I was gonna say, how long did it take you to learn how to ride the bike?
Well, to learn how to ride, it wasn't bad, but Harleys are really heavy, and I'm not that heavy. So I have a couple, putting the bike down is the proper term. So I did that a few times, but I'm okay now.
How about your daughter? Is she a rider?
She doesn't have her own bike yet, and that's something I don't want to buy her because I want her to appreciate it. So not yet.
Or you don't?
My son does. My son is a rider too.
Oh, okay. So.
And what about your husband, Tony?
Yeah, he rides too, but I'm not cool enough for him.
Well, you seem to be cool enough for anybody. I got to have Tony call me up.
Yes. Malcolm will talk to him a little
Okay,
bit.
good.
We'll talk. I mean, that's my job. I talk to people.
Oh, okay, good.
And then from what I see of you, and what you tell me and I hear, you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Thanks.
Are there many women riders?
At this moment, I am the only female rider, but I'm working on it.
You're trying to recruit, huh?
I am, yeah.
I'm wondering whether the Legion itself can gain members, female members, if you guys start to promote the riders.
I think so. That's a possibility.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I think both male and female through the riders, because riding is a lot of fun and it's a different social group. So I think if we reach out to them, and we do pretty cool stuff, we do honor missions and the West Point thing. We do 100-year-old birthday parades. How much fun is that?
Yeah. Well, I can picture you on the bike with the group of men. You're the only woman with your helmet and your jacket and your Harley. And when you get off the bike, you're this little nothing. Must people say, are you the same one that was on the bike? Because people on a bike always seem bigger, especially a Harley.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big machine, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was Harley or nothing.
So what are some of the other projects that you're doing that you could tell us about?
Yeah, why don't we talk a little bit about what you do for the children and youth?
Okay, so for children and youth, that's my favorite. I'm so glad they picked me to do that. They told me the only thing we want you to do is make a relationship with a Marine base that's close by and do a Christmas party. We used to do that. We don't do that anymore. We lost our contact. Please do that. So I was like, okay. It took me a couple years to get that relationship. but we do a Christmas party every year for them. We do a spring fling where we hide Easter eggs all through the offices. These Marines find Easter eggs like all year long. And we do a back to school supply collection. We give them a book bag. Every kid gets about 180 of them, get a book bag. We did trunk or treat. We all come and, you know, we dress our bike stuff and everything, and they come around to each of the cars or bikes. So that was really cool. And I have my little Navy cadets from my school. They were not allowed in their school this year because of COVID. So I found them American Legion post close by. So they accepted them and they're part of the post now. So they do all kind of community things. They do parade, the 100-year-old birthday parades. They do ceremonies for the veterans. They do all kind of things like that. And I try to give them a full military experience. They have the Navy uniforms. We teach them customs and courtesies and ranks and stuff like that. Respect. We want them to know respect. That's like the biggest thing. So every year I thought, you know, that'd be cool. My favorite thing in the military was a military ball. That was so much fun. And if we could have a military ball that's exactly like the one that the real one, how cool would that be, right?
Yeah.
So I did it. I planned it. It was so cool. Not me. It was everybody. I call my riders and they're there. They're there to help set up, to help cook, whatever. So we did it. We had from the reception line walking in, they had to salute everybody. They had to shake hands. We had to introduce them formally down the line. They were not allowed to sit down in their seats till the dinner bell was rang, and they had to socialize.
And not to cut you off, and one thing they did was, because I was at the military ball with the county staff, each cadet was given a sheet of paper and they had an assignment to interview members of the staff. So they come over and they had to ask different questions based upon the sheet that they had. And I guess the one who had the most interviews got the most ice cream at the end of the ball. And it was really fascinating. You have a 4-year-old come over to me, salute me, and then ask me when I was the commandant of the Empire State Military Academy, because they had information that they knew about us, I guess.
It was like a scavenger hunt to get them to talk, because they're not used to just going up to adults and speaking.
Yeah.
So they had to do a scavenger hunt for that half-hour time where it was socialization time, which in the military is socialization time. That would help them prompt them.
What subject are you teaching at what level?
I teach 5th grade, and it's reading, writing, and social studies in New York City, in Queens.
So the 5th grade is how old? About 10? 10, 11?
Yeah.
I was going to say 10 or 11.
Yeah, for times when I was always in film or TV, radio, and there were times of unemployment, so I had my substitute license in Brooklyn. That was horrible.
Where in Brooklyn?
I was a Bed-Stuy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And at that time, kids were left back.
Yes.
And I had like a 6th grade class where I would come in. They said, I knew the vice principal, so the assistant principal. So he said, Malcolm, anytime that you have a time, come on in. We don't have to call you. There's always a spot open.
Okay. Oh, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
See, because I started also as a substitute teacher in Brooklyn at a junior high school, but each day I would get a different call from a different school.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually I became a permanent sub, which is like you're explaining, where you go to the same school every day, but you have a different assignment.
Right.
You know?
But these kids, most of them had, some sort of traumatic problems.
Yeah.
And, it was a minority area and, very poor. And some of these kids were like 6'1", 6'2", towered over me.
Yes. I was in East New York. I had 2nd grade, and they were really 6th graders. Because you could be kept back.
But something, I had better control over the 5th and 6th grade than I had over the 1st and 2nd grade. If I got a 1st or 2nd grade class, I didn't know what to do because they didn't listen to me.
Because you could relate better to the older ones.
Yeah. I felt like there was a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he becomes a substitute teacher. I don't know if you've seen it. I forget that.
I'll tell you the problem I had as a sub. When you go into the classroom, the teacher had locked her desk and locked her closet. So you had no chalk, you had no erasing, no material. So I had to learn to bring my stuff with me on a daily basis. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive.
Well, one of the things I was told when I first came in, they say, you know, back east, they had the wardrobe back in the class.
Yes, yes.
They said, don't keep the wardrobe open. And I said, why? You know, it's the clothes are they don't use. They said, the kids are making out in the back. Because again, you had some of the older kids were in puberty.
Yeah, yes.
And
Crazy.
And again, after that, I just respect anyone that teaches. And it's such,
so
and
much.
it's such, yeah, I could see it if you're able to teach. And it's such hard work to make lessons appealing to kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always know I had a thirst of knowledge. When I went to school, I enjoyed it. You know, it wasn't something that I had to do. I enjoyed it because I enjoyed learning.
To do it. Yeah, exactly.
And at that time, the kids didn't enjoy learning. It was they had to go to school till they were 18.
Yeah. And
then they could leave. But it wasn't to go to school to enjoy what they're doing.
Right. They weren't motivated to go to school. Right. That's for sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so I appreciate, you know, I fully appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
On both levels. And I could see you as a tiny person, a commanding respect. I can see that.
It's great. As long as they're taller than me.
Oh, yeah. I think.
They look down and say, yes, Mrs. Samuel, I'm okay.
Yes. And I'll tell you one other real quick thing is when I started at junior high school 142, they told me to go see the assistant principal. He was going to tell you where your classroom was. And I was expecting to get some type of a briefing. So I walked into his office and he says to me, oh, Pat, you were in the military, right? I said, yes. He says, here's your keys. I know you know what to do. That was my briefing, you know? Okay.
Yeah. Children are fascinated though that you're in the military. I always tell them, they're very respectful and.
Oh yeah, a woman in the Air Force. Do you ever go to school on your bike?
Not in this area. When COVID, I was in the schools for first responders when COVID was really hit. Yeah. I took it then because there weren't crazy people on the road. But yeah, not the traffic that I'm in, and I don't white line, so no.
Well, you live in.
White line is going on the lines in between cars.
Oh right. Oh yeah. We were talking about that last week. Because I live in Los Angeles, and we had the freeways, and sometimes the freeways were going 40, 50 miles an hour. Yeah, but it's full of traffic, and all of a sudden I see a biker zip by me on the white line.
Yes.
And I'm going, this guy got to be certified.
Yes.
He has a death wish. Because there's so many crazy drivers.
Yes. Yeah, especially now, like with GPSs. Oh, that was my turn, and not even looking. Cut over 3 lanes.
Ooh. Yes.
Not even. You have to be aware. You have to really watch. Right. Thinking everybody's going to do the wrong thing.
So you can't be on your cell phone.
No.
Oh no way.
So, what do you have anything interesting planned for future events? For the post?
Well, what we have a couple of things going on this weekend, and unfortunately, I'm going to miss for the county. On Saturday, we have a Wall of Honor ceremony at Eisenhower Park in Garden City, where people are honored and their names go on the Wall of Honor. And that's a ceremony that lasts about an hour. And then on Sunday, we have a concert at Eisenhower Park. Tony Orlando and Dawn, but it's just going to be Tony Orlando.
Well, Dawn's going to be there.
And Dawn's going to be there, yes. And he's going to put on a concert for veterans and their families, which is really nice. He's done it before, and he does a great job, you know.
Yeah, he's one show that I do is called the Phil Margo, The Lion Roars. Phil was part of he was a record producer, but he was part of a group called the Tokens.
Oh, okay.
Which did The Lion Sleeps Tonight, which everyone, Wimaway.
Yeah.
Wimaway, yes.
He worked with Tony. I think he produced one of Tony. I forget which records he produced for Tony. But he says very nice things about him.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
Wait a minute, I lost you for a second.
Oh, okay. You can't, Pat, you can't lose me.
No,
I'm one of those. I'm one of those bad habits.
You're always there in spirit, Malcolm.
Yeah, I'm one of those bad habits that you can't lose. That's what my wife keeps on telling me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it sounds like you guys do. Is she part of your post? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's part of my post and also part of my staff at the county level.
Oh.
Yes.
So I'd like to see if all the other posts you have, eventually we're going to see other posts with other areas, but you guys seem to be doing a hell of a lot.
We do, and I guess most posts do similar type things, maybe not exactly the same, but they're all involved in community activities. And that's basically maybe the next podcast that we do. I'll ask a couple of post commanders to come on, and you can get a feel for how they act and what they do.
Right. Do you guys ever do group posts, several posts getting together to do some sort of functions?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sure. Like we're having on, I guess, September 26th, a Run for Heroes. And it's 4 or 5 posts in one division that are working together. And a lot of the funds from that activity will be shared by 4 or 5 posts.
So how long of a run?
5K, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody comes and does whatever they do. Like some people don't run.
Right, you could walk, you don't have to run.
I'll run, but we have people that are walking, that are bringing their babies, or in a stroller, and then the guys who don't do, like, they're there to cheer you on at different stations throughout. It's really cool.
And I think this year we're also inviting Gold Star family members to participate in the day. So it should be a good activity, and we're hoping that.
I'm more of a walker now than a runner. I call when I run, I do about 4 miles a day, but
Nice.
half run, half walk, half run, half walk. And when I run, I call it my old man trot.
That's okay. At least you're doing something.
I've done like 3 or 4 marathons, 26.2 miles.
Oh, very impressive.
But I haven't, the last one I did was, I hate to say, it was 1993.
Oh,
That's
okay.
been about 30 years that I did it.
Okay.
The best I've ever did was a 10K marathon, and that's probably about 25 years ago.
Oh,
So,
yeah, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the, there are a few, 5K races around here that I can participate in, which for people who don't know, are 3.1 miles.
okay. So why don't you get on a plane and come back to New York and you're participating in our Run for Heroes?
I will. Can I get an Air Force jet to take me?
No, I don't know. Do you have any contacts?
Can you arrange it?
No, I don't think so.
I'll come pick you up on my bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As I told Pat, I went one time on the back of a bike from the Catskills to Manhattan, and I still haven't recovered. And that was
The
about.
back is very different.
And that was about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Front seat is better.
And I'm when I think of it, I still break out into a sweat.
We learned last week that as she's saying, the front seat is always better than the back.
I've never been on the front seat.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Maybe. Can I borrow your bike? If I get a learner's permit?
Of course.
We'll
Maybe
talk.
I'll work for you.
If we can motivate you to come to New York, we'll work out a bike for you. How about that?
Eventually, I want to get back to New York. I haven't been there in about 10 years now.
Oh, boy.
Background, I was born in Brooklyn. I lived in Manhattan for most of my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I graduated college,
And he went to the same college I did, City College of New York.
CCNY.
CCNY, yes, exactly.
And both uptown, because my brother went city.
Uptown.
My brother went city downtown, which is Bernard Baruch, which is a business school.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm a liberal arts major. That's why I guess to the left of center politically.
I'm also a liberal arts major.
Yeah. Yeah,
Major in psychology with a minor in education.
I did penology. It was my minor because
Okay, sure.
at one time I was thinking about becoming an attorney until I realized it was too much reading.
Hmm.
There, after I took constitutional law, I said, "Don't forget about it," because everything was reading and memory. It wasn't thinking.
Yes, yeah, a lot of memory, yeah.
But anyway, a question I wanted to ask you: you have a sons of the American Legion, right? Why don't you have the daughters of the American Legion?
Well, we have the auxiliary.
The auxiliary basically handles the daughters of the American
Right, but
Legion.
why don't you call them daughters of the American Legion?
That's a good question.
You
Yeah,
have
no,
sons.
That's a good question.
You should want equality.
Yeah, but you see, the auxiliary is a separate entity. You know, the Sons, as we talked about, is part of the American Legion. The auxiliary is separate from, they have their own charter. So maybe that's why they don't have the daughters of the American Legion.
Well, yeah, but don't you think for equality rights, if they're sons, they qualify because they're sons of vets, right?
I think they're only children of the American Legion. I don't think it should be sons or daughters. Why should you specify?
Oh, right,
Why is it
maybe,
matter?
right,
That's
maybe
true. That's
children.
Yeah, children. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, so that's our for
But my two daughters are members of the American Legion Auxiliary.
auxiliary, but they're not members of the American Legion.
Correct.
Okay, I think they should have full and equal membership in the American Legion.
Well,
Why not? If you had,
And I don't think that's not going to come up in the future. I do believe we're going to go in that direction.
yeah, well, I think basically from what I understand, the military is more, male oriented anyway, and the things are coming just coming now for equality of women,
True.
and I think it should be the same thing for the American Legion. But anyway, Pat, I don't want to upset the apple cart.
No, that's something to think about.
I do think that's coming. I really do, because they just opened up the auxiliary to men recently, like a year or two ago.
Well, if it's people like you that are in the Legion, I'm sure that you're going to promote that.
That's right. I'm going to be out there promoting that.
Right. And I will hear it.
I do.
And I will read it in the papers.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's our half hour is up, believe it or not.
Okay.
We've used our time. So Pat, you're not going to be here next week, right? Yeah.
No.
Where you're traveling to?
I'm traveling to Phoenix starting tomorrow night for the American Legion National Convention. And then from there, I'm going to Dallas, Fort Worth for the Sovereign Military Order Temple of Jerusalem Convention.
Wow. And when are you going to return?
September 4th.
And we have a show September 4th?
No.
Oh.
I'll call you. And
Call
we'll
me.
make
We'll
it for that
arrange
week.
something.
Yeah, we'll try to do it for that Friday of that week that I'm back.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Well, I don't, we might run into the Jewish holidays. I'm not sure. I haven't.
Yeah.
I have to check. You might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, I think Rosh Hashanah is like the 6th and the 7th. But
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll work something out.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure having you guys.
Appreciate it. And you have a good week.
And have a good trip. If you have anything during the trip you want to find out about, give me a call.
Okay, buddy.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.